Hey, welcome back. Or welcome if you're new here. I put this video together to help you relax, unwind, or fall asleep. You can listen closely or just let it play in the background while you rest, study, or drift off. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, I'd really appreciate you subscribing. I'm a new creator, and every subscription genuinely helps more than you'd think. And if you find this calming, leaving a like helps this reach more people who might need it too. Get comfortable, take a breath, and whenever you're ready, let's begin.
All right, so I was scrolling through Reddit the other day and I came across this story that I absolutely need to share with you guys. This is wild. Let me just read it to you. So this person writes, I'm 24 and male. My best friend is also 24. We've known each other since middle school. My sister is 22. This happened 2 weeks ago and I'm still processing it. My best friend, I'll call him Jake, has been my closest friend for over a decade. We did everything together growing up. Same friend group, same interests. We even went to the same college for a year before he transferred. My sister and I are close too. Not like best friends or anything, but we get along. She's always been around when Jake came over and vice versa. They were friendly, but I never thought much of it. About 6 months ago, I started noticing Jake was being kind of weird. He'd cancel plans last minute. He'd be on his phone more than usual when we hung out. A few times I'd text him and he wouldn't respond for hours, when normally he'd reply right away. I asked him if everything was okay, and he said, yeah, just busy with work stuff. I believed him. My sister was also acting different. She'd leave the house more often. She'd get dressed up to run errands. She was always smiling at her phone. I thought maybe she was seeing someone. I asked her once and she got defensive, said it was none of my business. Which, yeah, fair, so I dropped it. Okay, so already this is setting up to be exactly what you think it is. When I was reading this, I was like, dude, you can see where this is going. But keep listening because the way he finds out is actually insane. So he continues, 2 weeks ago, I had to go to my parents' house to grab something I left there. I still have a key, so I just let myself in. It was like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. My parents were at work. My sister was supposed to be at her apartment. I walked in and immediately heard voices upstairs. I froze because I thought someone broke in, but then I recognized the voices. It was my sister and Jake. I just stood there in the entryway trying to process what I was hearing. They were talking, not like anything suspicious, just normal conversation. But Jake wasn't supposed to be there, and my sister wasn't supposed to be there either. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to leave and pretend I never came by, but I also felt like I needed to know what was going on. I went upstairs. I wasn't trying to be quiet, but I wasn't announcing myself either. I got to my sister's old bedroom and the door was cracked open. I pushed it open, and there they were. They were just sitting on her bed, fully clothed, nothing weird happening, but the way they looked at me, like they just got caught doing something they shouldn't be doing. Nobody said anything for like 5 seconds. It felt longer. Then my sister said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "What are you doing here? What is he doing here?" Jake stood up. He looked panicked. He said, "Dude, I can explain." I said, "Explain what?" My sister told him to stop. Then she looked at me and said, "We're dating." I just stared at her, then at him, then back at her. I said, "What?" She said, "We've been dating for a few months." 5 months. My best friend and my sister had been dating for 5 months, and nobody told me.
So, yeah, when I read that part, I was like, oh man, 5 months is a long time to keep that secret. That's not like a new thing they weren't sure about. That's a whole relationship. Anyway, he keeps going. I asked why they didn't tell me. Jake started talking, but I cut him off. I told him I wasn't talking to him right now. My sister said they didn't know how to bring it up. She said they knew it would be weird and they wanted to wait until they were sure it was serious. I said, it's been 5 months. How much more serious does it need to be?
She didn't have an answer for that. Jake tried to say something again, and I told him to be quiet. I know that sounds harsh, but I was so angry I couldn't even look at him. I asked my sister if Mom and Dad knew. She said no. So I was literally the only person who didn't know. Everyone else in their lives knew except me. I left. I didn't say anything else, I just walked out. Jake followed me downstairs and kept saying, "Dude, please, just let me explain." I told him to leave me alone. He said, "You're my best friend. I didn't want to hurt you." I said, "Then why did you lie to me for 5 months?" He didn't have an answer. I went home. I ignored calls and texts from both of them for the rest of the day. The next day, my sister came to my apartment. She said we needed to talk. I let her in, but I didn't want to. She said she was sorry. She said they didn't mean for it to happen. They just started talking more and it turned into something else. I asked when it started. She said they ran into each other at a coffee shop and started texting. Then they hung out a few times without telling me. Then it became a thing. I asked why she couldn't just tell me from the beginning. She said she didn't know how I'd react. She thought I'd be mad. I said, "I'm mad now because you lied." She said, "That's fair." Okay, pause. This is the part that got me. Because, I understand why they didn't say anything at first. It's awkward, but 5 months? At that point, you're choosing to lie. You know what I mean? All right, so continuing. She asked if I could forgive them. I said I didn't know. She said Jake was really upset, that he felt terrible. I said, "Good." She left after that. Jake texted me that night, long paragraph about how sorry he was and how much my friendship meant to him, how he never wanted to hurt me, how he understood if I needed space. I didn't reply. It's been 2 weeks. I've seen Jake once. We have mutual friends and we ended up at the same hangout. It was so awkward. He tried to talk to me and I just gave him short answers. Our friends noticed. One of them asked me later what was going on. I told him. He said, "Wait, they're dating? Since when?" So yeah, even our friends didn't know. My sister has texted me a few times, asking if we can talk, asking if I'm okay. I've been responding, but barely. My parents still don't know. My sister said she wants to tell them, but she's waiting until I'm okay with it, which I don't know. I don't think I get a say in that.
So that's where the story is right now. But here's where it gets even messier. There's an update. He posted this a few days after the original. Let me read it. "I didn't think I'd update this, but some stuff happened, so here it is. My mom called me yesterday. She said my sister told her about Jake. She asked why I didn't say anything. I said it wasn't my place to tell her. She said my sister said I was upset about it. I told her, yeah, I was. My mom said, 'Why? He's a good kid. If they're happy, what's the problem?' I didn't know how to explain it without sounding petty. I just said I wished they'd told me sooner. She said I was being dramatic, that it's not about me, that I should be happy for them. I said okay and got off the phone. That hurt more than I expected. I thought my mom would at least understand why I was upset, but she just brushed it off. Jake texted me again. He said he heard I talked to my mom. He asked if we could meet up and talk in person. I said, fine. We met at this diner we used to go to all the time. It felt weird being there with him after everything. He apologized again. He said he handled it wrong. He said he should have told me from the start. I asked him why he didn't. He said he thought I'd tell him not to date her, that I'd be weird about it, so he just avoided it. I said, so you decided lying was better? He said no. He said he messed up. We sat there for a while not saying anything. Then he said, are we good? I said I didn't know. He said, dude, you're my best friend. I don't want to lose you over this. I said, you should have thought about that 5 months ago. That came out harsher than I meant it, but I didn't take it back. He said, what do you want me to do? I can't change what happened. I said, I don't know what I want you to do. He said, do you want me to break up with her? I said, no. I said, "That's not what this is about." He asked what it's about then. I said, "You lied to me for months. Every time we hung out, you were lying. Every time I asked if you were okay, you lied. That's what this is about." He didn't say anything. I told him I needed more time. He said okay. We left, and I haven't talked to him since. My sister called me last night. She was crying. She said Jake told me about our conversation. She said she felt like this was all her fault. I told her it wasn't just her fault. They both decided to hide it. She said, "I don't want to lose my brother over a guy." I said, "Then why did you date him behind my back?" She didn't answer. I feel bad. I know she's upset, but I'm also still angry. Some of my friends think I'm overreacting. They say it's weird, but not worth ending friendships over. Maybe they're right. But it's not just about them dating. It's about the lying. It's about knowing that every time I hung out with Jake, he was keeping this massive secret from me. It's about my sister looking me in the eye and pretending nothing was going on. I don't know if I'm being dramatic or if this is justified. I don't know if I'll forgive them next week or if this is just done. Right now, I'm just tired of thinking about it. So yeah, that's the end of the update. And honestly, when I finished reading this, I just sat there for a second. Because what do you even do in that situation? I get both sides. I get why they didn't say anything at first. But 5 months is crazy. And then to have your own mom say you're being dramatic? That's rough. I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious if you think this person is overreacting or if the friend and sister messed up. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next video.
All right, so I was on Reddit the other day, and I came across this story that honestly made me anxious just reading it. I need to share this with you guys because I want to know what you would do in this situation. So this person writes, "I'm 28 and I've been working at this company for 3 years. Marketing job. Nothing fancy, but it pays decent and I like most of my coworkers. My boss is fine. Not great, not terrible. We've had our issues, but I thought overall things were okay between us. I've never gotten a bad review. I've never been written up or anything like that. Last Thursday, I stayed late to finish a project. I was the only one left in the office, or at least I thought I was. I was in the break room making coffee around 6:30. The break room is at the end of a hallway, and my boss's office is nearby. The door was closed, but I could hear voices inside. I recognized my boss's voice, and I recognized our department head's voice. They were talking loud enough that I could hear them through the door. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I was just standing there waiting for the coffee to brew. But then I heard my name. My boss said something like, "I think we need to let him go." I froze. I just stood there staring at the coffee maker. The department head said something I couldn't make out. Then my boss said, "He's not a good fit. He doesn't take initiative. He does the bare minimum, and that's it." I felt sick, like my stomach just dropped. The department head said, "Have you talked to him about it?" My boss said, "I've hinted at it, but he doesn't seem to get it. I don't think he's going to improve." They kept talking, but I couldn't hear everything. I grabbed my coffee and went back to my desk. My hands were shaking. I sat there for like 20 minutes just staring at my computer. I didn't know what to do. I thought about going to his office and confronting him, but what would I even say? "Hey, I heard you talking about firing me?" I thought about just leaving, but I needed this job. I have rent and bills, and I don't have anything else lined up. I finished my work and left. I didn't see my boss before I went home. Okay, so when I read this part, I was like, oh man, that is such a terrible feeling. Like, imagine just trying to make coffee and overhearing that. I would spiral immediately. So he continues, "That was last Thursday. It's been almost a week now. I've gone to work every day since and acted like everything is normal. My boss hasn't said anything to me. He's been friendly.
We had a meeting on Monday and he complimented something I worked on. It's messing with my head. Like, is he just being nice because he feels guilty? Is he waiting for HR to process paperwork? I have no idea. I've been looking at job postings every night. I updated my resume, I've applied to a few places, but I haven't heard back yet. Part of me wonders if I misheard. Maybe they were talking about someone else, but I know I heard my name. I'm sure of it. I asked one of my coworkers if she'd heard anything about layoffs or people getting let go. She said no, everything seemed normal. So either it's just me or they're keeping it quiet. I've been trying to work harder this week, staying later, volunteering for extra stuff. I don't know if it matters at this point, but I feel like I have to try. Yesterday, my boss asked me to come to his office. I thought this was it. I thought he was going to fire me right there. But he just asked about a client, normal work stuff. I answered his questions and left. I felt like I was going to pass out the entire time. My girlfriend thinks I should just ask him directly. She said I should go to his office and say I'm worried about my job security and ask if there's anything I need to improve. But I don't know. What if he lies? What if I bring it up and it makes things worse?
So, yeah, at this point, I'm reading this and I'm like, dude, I don't know what the right move is either. Because if you bring it up, you're admitting you overheard a private conversation. But if you don't bring it up, you're just waiting around to get fired. He keeps writing, my friend from college said I should just start looking for a new job and leave before they fire me. He said there's no point trying to save it if my boss already made up his mind. Well, maybe he's right, but I don't want to quit without having something else lined up, and I don't know how long that's going to take. I've been a mess all week. I can't sleep. I keep replaying what I heard over and over. The part that bothers me the most is when he said, I do the bare minimum. I don't think that's fair. I do my work. I meet my deadlines. I'm not trying to win Employee of the Year, but I'm not slacking off either. Or maybe I am, and I just don't realize it. Maybe I've been doing less than I thought, and everyone's been too nice to tell me. I went through all my old performance reviews. They're all fine. Nothing amazing, but nothing bad. My boss has never said I wasn't meeting expectations. So where's this coming from? I thought about the past few months, trying to figure out if I did something wrong. There was one project that didn't go well, but that wasn't just my fault. A bunch of people were involved. There was also a day a few weeks ago where I left early because I wasn't feeling great, but I told my boss and he said it was fine. I don't know. Maybe he's been building a case against me and I just didn't see it. My coworker, the one I asked about layoffs, she noticed I'd been acting weird. She asked if I was okay. I said yeah, just stressed about work stuff. She said if I ever needed to talk, she was around. I almost told her, but I didn't. I don't want people to know. I don't want it to get back to my boss that I've been talking about this. I thought about going to HR, but I don't know what I'd even say. I overheard my boss talking about firing me, and I want to know if it's true. That sounds crazy. My girlfriend keeps asking if I've said anything to my boss yet. I keep saying no. She's getting frustrated with me. She said I can't just ignore this and hope it goes away. She's right, but I don't know what else to do. This is actually so stressful. Like when I was reading this, I kept thinking, what would I do? And honestly, I don't know. It's such a bad position to be in. Anyway, here's where it gets more complicated. Yesterday, my boss sent out an email about a team meeting next week. He said he wanted to discuss some changes to the department. I immediately assumed that's when he's going to announce I'm being let go. I asked my coworker if she knew what the meeting was about. She said no. She said it's probably just normal stuff. But I can't stop thinking about it. I've been going through every possible scenario in my head. What if he fires me in front of everyone? What if he just announces I'm leaving and doesn't explain why? What if I'm completely wrong and this meeting has nothing to do with me? I don't know which option's worse. I applied to 5 more jobs yesterday. I'm checking my email constantly to see if anyone responds. One place I applied to looks really good. Better pay, better hours. I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm hoping. If I get an interview, I don't know how I'll explain why I'm leaving my current job. I can't say I overheard my boss planning to fire me. That sounds insane. I guess I'll just say I'm looking for new opportunities or something.
Okay, so the meeting happened today. I've been dreading it all week. I barely slept last night. I got to the office early and just sat at my desk, staring at the clock.
The meeting was at 10. Everyone on the team was there. My boss started talking about some new projects we're taking on, new clients, stuff like that. I wasn't really listening. I was just waiting for him to say my name. But he didn't. He talked for like 30 minutes about goals for the next quarter. Then he opened it up for questions. Someone asked about budget. Someone else asked about timelines. Normal stuff. Then my boss said, "One more thing before we wrap up." My heart was racing. This was it. He said, "I wanted to let you all know that we're going to be restructuring a bit over the next few months. Nothing major, just shifting some responsibilities around." He didn't say anything about anyone leaving. He didn't mention me at all. The meeting ended. Everyone went back to their desks. I sat there feeling confused and relieved and still anxious. I don't know if I'm safe or if this is just delayed. Later that day, my boss called me into his office again. I thought, okay, here it comes. He said he wanted to check in with me. He said I'd seemed stressed lately, and he wanted to make sure I was doing okay. I didn't know what to say. I just said, "Yeah, I've been a little stressed, but I'm fine." He said if I ever needed to talk, or if I was struggling with my workload, to let him know. I said, "Okay." Then he said, "You're doing good work. I want you to know that." I just nodded. I didn't trust myself to say anything. I left his office and went straight to the bathroom. I felt like I was going to cry or throw up or both. I don't know what's happening. Either he changed his mind about firing me, or he's just waiting for the right time. Or maybe I misunderstood what I heard that night. Maybe he was talking about someone else, and I convinced myself it was me. I texted my girlfriend and told her what happened. She said maybe it's a good sign. Maybe he realized he was wrong. I want to believe that, but I don't know. I'm still applying to other jobs. I don't think I can stay here long term, even if I don't get fired. I don't trust him anymore. Every time he talks to me, I'm going to wonder if he's being genuine or if he's just waiting to let me go. I hate this. I hate not knowing. I hate feeling like I have to prove myself every single day. But for now, I still have a job, so I guess that's something. So that's where the story ends for now. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. Like on one hand, maybe the boss did change his mind, or maybe he was never actually planning to fire this person, and it was just a conversation. But on the other hand, once you hear something like that, how do you ever feel secure in that job again? I feel bad for this person. Like that's such a stressful way to live. Going to work every day, wondering if today's the day. Let me know what you guys think. Would you confront your boss? Would you just start looking for a new job? Would you try to forget about it and move on? I'm curious what you would do. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
I'm 23. This happened like 2 months ago, but I'm still thinking about it. So I've had this friend group since college. Like 6 of us, maybe 7 depending on who you count. We used to do stuff all the time. Bars, someone's apartment, game nights, whatever. Normal stuff. Around March or April, I started noticing I wasn't getting invited to things as much. At first, I thought it was just scheduling. Like maybe I was busy those weekends or they forgot to text me. I didn't think much of it. I probably should have. But then it kept happening. I'd see Instagram stories from nights out, and I just wasn't there. And it wasn't like 1 or 2 people. It was the whole group. I'd scroll through and see all of them at someone's place or at this bar we used to go to. And I'm just like, okay. I asked one of them about it. Just casual. Like, hey, what are you guys up to this weekend? And he said probably nothing. Then I saw him tagged in photos that same night. I didn't want to be that person who makes it weird, so I just stopped asking. I figured maybe they needed space, or I don't know. Maybe I did something. I genuinely couldn't think of anything, but I kept going over it in my head. This went on for like 2 months. I still talked to them individually, but the group stuff just didn't include me anymore. Then one night I was out with my girlfriend, and we ran into two of them at this place near campus. They seemed kind of surprised to see me. We talked for a bit. It was fine, but it was also kind of awkward in a way I couldn't explain. My girlfriend said something felt off. I agreed, but I didn't know what. A week later, one of the guys, Matt, texted me asking if we could grab coffee. I said sure. I thought maybe he wanted to talk about something personal or needed advice or whatever. We met up and he seemed nervous, like he kept messing with his cup and wouldn't really look at me. I asked him what was up. He said the group had been meaning to talk to me, but nobody knew how to bring it up. I just sat there. My stomach kind of dropped, but I didn't say anything. He said that a few months ago at someone's birthday, I said some stuff that made people uncomfortable. He didn't go into detail at first. I asked him what I said. He said I made a comment about one of the girls in the group. Something about her boyfriend. He said it came off really inappropriate, and she didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but it bothered her. I honestly didn't remember saying it. I told him that. He said it was late that night, so he wasn't surprised. I asked why nobody said anything to me. Why they just started cutting me out instead of telling me I messed up. He said they didn't know how. And honestly, after he said that, I didn't really know what to say either. I apologized. I told him I didn't remember it and that I felt terrible. He said he believed me, but that it didn't really change how she felt about it. I asked if I could apologize to her directly, and he said he'd ask, but he didn't think she wanted to talk to me. We sat there for a minute, and then he said he had to go. I said okay. I texted her that night anyway. Just said I was sorry, and that I didn't remember what I said, but I understood if she didn't want to be around me. She read it but didn't respond. Nobody's really talked to me since. I mean, Matt replies to my texts sometimes, but it's short. The rest of them just don't. I deleted Instagram for a while because I couldn't stop checking to see if they were hanging out without me. They were. I don't know. I get why they're upset. I do. But part of me is also kind of angry that nobody just told me, like I would have apologized immediately if I'd known. Instead, I just spent 2 months wondering what I did wrong. My girlfriend says they handled it badly. That freezing someone out without explaining why is childish. But I also think maybe I don't get to be mad about how they reacted when I'm the one who said something inappropriate in the first place. I still don't remember that night. I've tried. I remember being there and I remember leaving, but everything in between is just gone. I'm not trying to make excuses. I know I messed up. I just wish someone had told me. Now I don't really have that friend group anymore. I see them sometimes on campus and nod or whatever, but that's it. It's weird. I didn't think something I don't even remember doing could just end friendships like that. But I guess it did. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. I apologized. I've been more careful about what I say around people. Tried to make it right, but nobody wants to hear it. Maybe that's just how it goes sometimes.
That's the end of this collection. If you're still awake, I hope you're feeling a little more relaxed than before. And if you're already drifting off, I hope you sleep well. If you enjoyed listening, you can subscribe for more calm stories like this. New videos will be here whenever you need something quiet to put on. Thanks for spending your time here. Take care, and good night.